Top tumblers in the nation have hit the heartland, Iowa City. It's the Big Ten Women's Gymnastics Championships, and it's next on College Sports Television. Grace, athleticism, power, precision, and passion, all surely to be on display here at Carver Hawkeye Arena for the Big Ten Women's Gymnastics Championships right now on CSTV. Hi again, everybody. Jason Knapp, glad you could join us for Women's Gymnastics on College Sports Television. You know, the Big Ten Championships in recent years, really you could call it the Michigan Invitational. The Wolverines have dominated, winning 12 of the last 13 titles, including 6 in a row. And the Wolverines ranked again nationally, currently 7th in the nation. Penn State also in the mix in the 11th spot nationally, and Minnesota also cracking the top 25, currently ranked 22nd. Glad to be joined once again by Robin Hubner, former Big Ten all-around champion. And Robin, the Wolverines loaded once again, and Jenny Diley, another performer for them that's done a great job. Jenny
Diley is a true all-around gymnast. Not only is she ranked first in the all-around right now in the conference, first in the vault as well, and in the top 3 to 4 on just about all of the other events. But she has such a real nice combination of traits to her. She's a strong athlete, very graceful, and really pretty gymnastics lines. We talked with her earlier about how she feels about the all-around competition.
I actually like competing all around because when you're in club, you compete all around, so it's nothing new. And last year, actually, I was hurt at the beginning. So coming back, I gradually came back, so I would start with just bars, and then I did bars and beam, and it was different not competing everything.
Also happy to have former Olympic gold medalist Dominique Dawes joining us in the broadcast. And Dominique, one of your former Olympic teammates is starring in her own right for Michigan in Elise Ray.
Elise Ray is a wonderful competitor. We competed on the 2000 Olympic team together, and she's had a strong showing at the University of Michigan throughout all the 3 years that she's been competing. This is now her 5th year as a senior, but she's walked away so far with 3 NCAA titles. And she understands that right now this is her final competition as a Big Ten championships, and she's understanding that, and I'm sure she's looking forward to the competition.
Definitely excited, definitely ready to go. Glad that postseason is here because I think the team is ready. But also a little sad. This is kind of, as it gets closer to the end, you kind of start thinking about, oh, this is my last blah, blah, blah. And that's kind of hard to swallow just because there's so much passion for the sport. But I think the overall feeling is excitement and fired up, ready to go.
It is the final go-around for Ray and a lot of the seniors here in the Big Ten Conference, but it's the first go-around for us here at Iowa City. First rotation coming up in a moment, featuring, among others, Cara Pomeroy, top 5 in the nation on the bars, and it's next from Iowa City here on College Sports Television. Jason Knapp back here in Iowa City along with Robin Hubner and Dominique Dawes and you on College Sports Television. Set for rotation number 1. Ohio State will be on the vault. The bars belong to Illinois. Iowa on top of the beam, and Michigan State has the floor. Buys right now for Michigan, Minnesota, and Penn State. We start out with Brittany Brown of Ohio State on the vault. Transfer from LSU, season high 9.8 so far on the vault. Junior from Wheaton, Maryland, and here she goes.
And her vault is a handspring pike with a half, and the college gymnasts now just do the one vault, which is a change from years back when everybody did 2, and this is much less wear and tear on the knees and ankles.
And Brittany's vault was pretty strong, as you'll see here. The height was pretty tight. Her form with her legs came a little bit apart and are slightly bent, and the judges are definitely going to deduct for that. But all around, a very strong vaulter.
Carly Wallach is the top all-arounder for the Buckeyes. Had a 9.9 on the vault earlier this year against Pittsburgh, and a pretty solid season average as well.
That was a layout soup full. That was a very nice vault. A little bit of form break with her feet, but other than that, I think it's going to score quite well for the Buckeyes.
She gets good speed into the vaulting table. She does that half turn on, or kind of a quarter turn with the full twist off, and really just that one step on the landing, which is just a 10th deduction.
On floor for Michigan State, Sarah Alexander, junior from Kernersville, North Carolina. First team All Big Ten last year, tied for 4th in this event last season.
She opens with the front through to a double back pike.
Sarah's definitely doing a great job here with her artistic value. That's something the judges are looking for on top of combinations in your dance and tumbling. She's really performing well to the crowd.
Certainly a Latin influence in her music choice here. How much do you try to play to strengths in your artistic choices here?
Well, obviously you want to pick a music that suits your style and your personality. That's first off. And then obviously you want the choreography to fit as well.
Yeah, and that's how it was in my career. A lot of times I worked with jazz or blues, things that really suit my personality, and I think this Latin flavor is really working for her.
I agree.
Sarah had a 9.9 here at Big Tens last year. Again, that was good enough for 4th position. And the junior looking to improve upon her performance. Latter stages of her floor exercise.
And this is a crucial time. She's getting ready for her final tumbling pass, and this is when the gymnast is usually feeling quite tired. Very nice double twist.
Ah, Spartan with a smile after a nice performance. Sarah Alexander doing the job for Michigan State. Number 5 in the nation on the bars, Cara Pomeroy, sophomore from Ottawa, Ontario. No lower than 9.9 in her last 4 meets in this particular apparatus.
Beautiful pike Jaeger there. What I really like about Cara, obviously she's taller than the average gymnast at 5'8", and she really uses her height to an advantage. She just makes the swings look so beautiful.
And that's what the judges are looking for. The key to bars is really about swinging and also proper form. And if you can see by her lines right away, they're beautiful.
That was excellent routine.
Landing stuck. She had a perfect 10 last year at regionals and certainly earning another good score here at the Big Tens in 2005. Back on floor, Jayla Hill, sophomore out of Hudson, Ohio, ready to showcase her stuff for Michigan State. Season high 9.9 on the floor twice this year.
That was a nice combination of front tumbling immediately followed by back tumbling. And
very interesting. Very interesting.
And the judges don't want to see just front or just back. And there she combined both of them in the one tumbling run.
The folks with the Spartan program certainly talking about her as far as a breakthrough season this year. Solid as a freshman, but certainly when you are put in the position of closing a routine for your team, it's certainly a proper position for an athlete on the rise with their program.
Well, it's important to be the last competitor in the lineup because a lot relies upon you and your performance, and it really says that you're pretty strong and they're relying upon a high score for you for the team.
And the scores tend to increase as the rotation goes on, so the coaches typically put their strongest athletes toward the end with the hopes that the scores will continue to rise.
Jayla certainly working herself. Big grin out there, having a good time, and going to set herself up towards that final tumbling pass.
And that's one thing that I've enjoyed from Michigan State's floor routines. They're really performing to the crowd, and that really does matter. A little rough on that last tumbling pass.
Last run.
Jayla Hill, sophomore for Michigan State, closing out the floor for the Spartans. Courtney Williamson, junior from Manheim, Pennsylvania, on the beam now for Iowa. Second team All Big Ten last year. And in the Iowa Media Guide, she lists her best non-athletic talent as being able to pilot a Harley Davidson. So she's good on a bike and the beam. Let's enjoy.
That may come into play. You never know. You know, keeping your balance.
She's definitely got balance there. Back handspring, layout, very nice series. And this angle is great because if she's off just a half an inch, you're definitely going to be able to tell.
You can see it.
You know, starting the balance beam for your first apparatus is always a plus because this is the event that a lot of gymnasts tend to worry about throughout the whole 4 events of the all-around competition. So getting beam over with, hometown crowd behind you, great plus for them.
Certainly is. Hawkeye fans enjoying the work here of Courtney Williamson as she gets ready to set up for the dismount.
It's has been a pretty solid routine so far. Not the most difficulty that you'll see, but
landing pretty solid for Courtney Williamson. We are done. Rotation number 1. Get you caught up on the scores and everything else from Iowa City in a moment on CSTV. Back here at Carver Hawkeye Arena, Big Ten Women's Gymnastics Championships underway. Here's a look at the performers that you saw in rotation number 1 of their scores. Brittany Brown of Ohio State on the vault with a 9.75. Her teammate, freshman Carly Wallach, helping out as well with a 9.8 on the floor. Sarah Alexander, 9.725 for the first 10 all Big Ten performer from last year. On the bars, Kara Pomeroy of Illinois, one of the best in the nation, improving it with a 9.85. On the floor, Chayla Hill equaling her teammate's score, 9.725. And on the beam, Iowa's Courtney Williamson thrilling the home crowd with a 9.725. Here's a look at the team scores after the first rotation. Ohio State in the lead with Michigan State in second, Illinois and Iowa in third and fourth, respectively. Getting you set with a lineup for rotation 2. Michigan on the vault. Ohio State will have the uneven bars. Minnesota on the beam. Penn State takes to the floor, sitting out in the second rotation. Michigan State, Illinois, and Iowa. Here in rotation number 2, Michigan on the vault. Shanna Dugan, senior from Ontario, Canada.
Doing the very popular Yurchenko vault, the round-off arm with a full twisting layout. Really, I didn't see much wrong there. Did you, Dominique?
Her body positioning was really nice. Nice form, just a little deduction on the landing.
Katie Lieberman of Michigan, ranked second in the Big Ten this season in the vault. She was sticking it pretty good in warm-ups. We'll see about the big time right now.
She also does the Yurchenko full. That was probably the most controlled landing.
Yeah, that was the best one so far in the whole competition. The amplitude was up there, nice form, and she even flared out at the ending with what the judges are looking for.
In college gymnastics, they went to the vault table 2 years ago, and it really has allowed these bigger, more explosive vaults, the Yurchenko vaults, and really a nice layout position.
Slight deduction on the landing, that's the only problem.
The vault table gives the gymnast a little more surface area to work with, so it's safer and it allows them to really get more push off the vault.
Elise Ray tied for third at the Big Tens last year in this event. It's the only one she didn't win here. 9.9 was her score last time around. This time,
very strong. Yurchenko full, nice landing, nice form.
She has a certain lightness about her when she's vaulting, which seems hard to believe because you're running so fast and pushing so hard, but it was she had a very light landing to her.
Well, it really helps when you're taught very well, and she has great fundamentals, nice round off, reach back to the horse there. Slight deduction with the leg separation, but beautiful vault.
Jenny Diley ranked number 1 in the conference on the vault, 10th nationally. See her average, nearly 9.9 per vault.
Michigan's off to just a fantastic. Did that look like it dropped out of the air, Dominique?
It did. It was wonderful height, great form. Michigan's done a wonderful job on vault. Each of the scores have continued to creep up.
And I wouldn't be surprised if this is the highest scoring.
Highest score.
Because she really nailed it. Look at her
form.
legs were together.
Height.
Just very pretty.
Slight deduction on the landing, though, but other than that, it was beautiful.
She tied for third in this event last year. Could be up top the standings once again. Ohio State working the bars here in rotation number 2. We'll take a peek at Liz Meany, senior, season high 9.8 on the bars this year.
There's a good view from the side of the bars. It really allows you to see if they're hitting those handstand positions.
Mike Yeager, a little problem there. That's better than completely falling off the bars. That's going to be a 3/10 deduction, possibly with a little bit more added onto it.
With that little extra swing she had to do.
Here she comes up for a dismount. Nice dismount, nice landing.
But that little break on the Yeager.
Really going to cost her.
Give her credit for keeping her focus and landing the dismount strong. On floor, Lisa Clark of Penn State getting ready to get started. There you see her season numbers and the Nittany Lion roar, ready to start off the performance for the junior from Philadelphia.
I'm impressed watching her just for her sheer strength. She is so strong on the vault and floor, just in the tumbling. You can just see it in her legs.
Beautiful tuck full in. And I love the expression on all these gymnasts' face when they're performing to the crowd.
She really, really plays to the crowd.
She's got the numbers to back it up. She was part of an 8-way tie for 4th in this event here at the Big Tens last year with a 9.9 second tumbling run.
I'm glad that she made that double full punch front because she was missing that about 4 or 5 times in a row in the warm-ups. It's great that she was able to pull it out when it really mattered.
And I like that she combined the back and front tumbling there in the one run. It's always kind of a surprise to see someone finish a twist and then go right away into a front flip.
Yeah, much of my career consisted of that exact tumbling pass, but I tumbled all the way back, so I definitely love seeing it happen again.
So far, so good for Lisa Clark on the floor for Penn State. Final pass.
Finishing up with a very high double tuck, perfect landing.
You do see a lot of different styles in the dance, don't you?
Yes, what a nice routine.
Yeah, the smile there. Certainly telling you that Lisa Clark enjoyed it. And head coach Steve Shepard as well for Penn State.
Let's take a look at one of her runs. It was the last one, the double tuck. Really nothing wrong with that, obviously. Plenty high and good control on the landing.
Here is the top performer on the floor of the Big Ten Conference this season. It is Kate Stopper, the senior for Penn State. She was a second-team All-Big Ten performer last year.
What you want to watch out for in her first tumbling run is an Arabian double front. And it's really something to see, and it's an E skill, so one of the most difficult you can do on the floor X.
Not only is it a difficult skill, it's also a difficult landing. It's a blind landing, front somersault. It's really hard to see your feet land.
She tweaked this a little bit and took a whip out of it. Maybe just to build the confidence. Worth the effort right there. It seemed strange to me a little bit to be tweaking that routine. You've been the tops in the conference all year, but still you're fine-tuning even up to the last moment.
Coach Steve Shepard said she just wasn't quite hitting it as she wanted to. She does a whip, another whip right there, and he said it was just, she wasn't able to distinguish enough between those two passes.
And if it's really not going to affect your start value, if you're still going to have a 10-0 start value, you might as well stay clean and stay on your feet in the performance.
Well, Kate certainly looks relaxed and in control right now.
Very nice jump combination. That's things that many people in the audience aren't going to pick out, but that's something the judges are really looking for. She did 2 copas in a row.
You know, Kate describes herself as not a great technician, but overcomes that maybe with power, and we've certainly seen that so far.
Kate has to be pleased with that routine. That was very nice.
Kate Stopper, senior from Penn State, getting some high fives and hugs from her teammates. Minnesota on the beam. Here's a look at redshirt freshman Ashley Stanton, and this is a great story of perseverance. Tore her ACL in her right knee at age 14, had surgery, came back. Junior Olympic Nationals in 2003, top 5 in 3 events. Comes to Minnesota last season, warming up for her first ever collegiate event. Blew out the same knee again, has rehabbed and come back, and here she is at the Big Tens.
And she doesn't wear a knee brace, which is amazing.
Yeah, usually when people come back from knee surgery, they're always wearing a knee brace, protecting that knee a little bit more, but just watching her perform so far, she's done quite well. Starting off with the back handspring back layout.
And I think her coaches, Jim and Meg Stevenson, have really worked hard to make sure that she does only those skills that won't, put her in jeopardy of injuring the knee again.
Yeah, protecting your body is key, especially if you've had 2 major injuries like she's had throughout her career.
She has worked the beam and the floor so far this season. She got hurt on the vault. They haven't let her do the vault in competition, but she's been pushing them a little bit to let her start doing it in practice. And And you see, for the point of view of the Minnesota bench, they are certainly liking what they are seeing for the redshirt freshman from Centennial, Colorado.
Very nice switch side there. So far in Ashley's routine, it's pretty solid. You're not seeing a lot of jitters. She seems pretty confident and cool and calm and collected on the balance beam.
And a nice combination into her dismount.
The Golden Gophers like it through 2 rotations. The 3rd rotation on the way. Stay tuned. More from Iowa City coming up on CSTV. Back here with some nice springtime weather in Iowa City. The setting for the Big Ten Gymnastics Championships for the women. 2nd rotation, Michigan on the vault. Shayna Dugan with a 9.825. Her teammate Katie Lieberman, one of the best in the conference, and displaying those talents. 9.9. Elise Ray, the former Olympian, in that neighborhood with a 9.875. And Jenny Diley, the anchor of the vault squat, with a 9.9 as well. Michigan ranked at the top 10 nationally in the vault and certainly displaying those skills. Meantime, there on the bar, good showing for Liz Meany. And then Lisa Clark for Penn State with a 9.825 and plenty of exuberance on the floor. Her teammate Kate Stopper with a 9.85 on the floor as well. And on the beam, Ashley Stanton, the redshirt freshman, with a 9.775 for Minnesota. So through 2 rotations, the team standings look like this. Ohio State with a big lead, but that's because the other teams listed have all had byes so far. Ohio State will now have a bye in this upcoming rotation. Here we are in rotation number 3 with Michigan on the bars. Lindsey Brock, 2nd in the Big Ten all-around average this season. She's ranked 12th in the nation in the all-around.
So far, Michigan started off pretty strong on bars, and she's definitely following the way. Nice pike Jaeger, beautiful form.
She does have a very good toe point. It may seem very elementary, but it's very important in gymnastics to keep form.
Hitting her lines, coming up for the dismount right now. Beautiful double layout.
The sophomore from Marietta, New York. Got to be happy with that. The Wolverines with another good score. Jenny Diley of Michigan, 4th on the bars of the Big Tens last year, and she was really nailing her landing yesterday in practice. We'll see this time.
Beautiful straddle, Jaeger.
Jenny started off with some nice combinations, Healy twirls, nice Jaeger.
Giving up just a hair of a deduction there with those bent legs. But
on her cast handstands and her uprises, she bends her knees. A deduction that the judges will certainly take.
Really good dismount, though.
On the vault for Michigan State, Shayla Hill. Season best 9.875 this season. That ties her career high.
Shayla just did the ever so popular Ushenko layout full vault. A little difficulty on the landing and also low.
And a little difficulty getting off the map there, but thankfully they weren't still judging her there.
Here's another look. Pretty good speed.
Yeah, she gets pretty good height, but just a little form break there, and then that big step back.
Yep.
Still smiles for the sophomore from Hudson, Ohio. Now a woman who is a star on the bars. 2000 U.S. Olympian Elise Ray, the defending Big Ten and NCAA champ in this event.
Yeah, Elise is known for her beautiful form, her wonderful swinging, and her lines on bars. Nice up full.
Nice. Up full. And 2 in a row. E plus the E.
Beautiful double layout, pull out, dismount. I didn't see very much wrong in that routine.
Very few places to take deductions. Is that hop full? Finishing right on the top of the bar.
And look at where her toes go for the dismount, and that's why she goes up.
Here's what has to be a thrilling experience. Junior Liz Grajewski from Covington, Washington, junior from Iowa, performing for the home crowd here at the Big Tens on her home floor in Iowa City.
Now this is definitely a unique routine. Beautiful start with the double pike. But so far I can tell tell this choreography is going to be something to watch.
Well, when I first saw this routine, I made note of interesting choreography. I think it may not be everyone's cup of tea, but I think she makes it work. What do you think?
I think she's definitely making it work, and it must be boring for the audience and judges to watch the same kind of routine over and over again. And Liz's routine is definitely unique. The music is definitely very acting, very dramatic to it. It's enjoyable to look at.
That tribal influence there.
Yeah.
Good work on the floor as well. She has a career high of 9.95 at this event.
Yeah, I definitely see some African influence there, quite a bit with the drums and the dance and everything. Very nice front combination for ending of her floor routine.
Oh, they love it here in Iowa City. Liz Grayesky, the junior, thrilling the home folks. The Hawkeyes showing their colors. And we are through 3 rotations. We will have much more from Iowa City at the Big Ten Women's Gymnastics Championship coming up in a moment. Back here in Iowa City, Jason Knapp, Robin Hubner, and Dominique Dawes enjoying the Big Ten Women's Gymnastics Championships. Here's what we just saw in rotation number 3. Michigan on the bars, Lindsey Bruck. Nice tone setter with a 9.85. Her teammate Jenny Diley equaling that score. Solid dismount and another 9.85. On the vault, Chayla Hill of Michigan State, the sophomore, with a 9.775. Elise Ray defending Big Ten and NCAA champ on bars with another solid score at 9.9. And the African influences in Liz Grayesky's floor routine helping her to a 9.8. Team scores look like this after 3 rotations. Michigan and Michigan State 1-2 with Illinois and Iowa there in 3rd and 4th. And don't be fooled by Penn State and Minnesota's scores so far. They have had a bye so far in those 3 rotations, so that means we'll see them both here in rotation number 4. Penn State on the vault, Minnesota on the floor, Michigan State and Ohio State on the bars and beam respectively. Iowa, Michigan, and Illinois with the buys. On vault here in rotation number 4, Penn State's Lisa Clark, 9.95, her top scorer this year.
Strong vault for Lisa. Form break at the end, slight deduction on the landing, but a vault we've seen continuously today.
Very powerfully done, not hurting in height or distance. Of course, in the replay, you get to see things that the judges would not see in fast motion. Not bad form-wise.
Only a pike down and the deduction on the landing.
On the floor, Maria Opsel of Minnesota. There you see her season average in this exercise. She's got a top score of 9.875 this season, career high of 9.925. The junior from Forest Lake, Minnesota.
Very pretty opening run. Double twist into a layout step out. And what I really like about her routine, she has decent, solid tumbling, but very beautiful artistry. Sort of the classic gymnastics from...
And that's one thing we're seeing a great deal of today in today's competition. Just the artistry is not standard classical or jazz. It's a mixture of everything.
Variety, right.
Maria setting up, second tumbling run.
2 pretty layouts into a tuck.
Nice front tumbling combination. It's always good to show your strengths in back tumbling and then also top it off with some strengths with your front tumbling.
Maria has an older sister, Alicia, who competed prior to older sister. And she was equally as artistic as Maria.
Very soft and flowy routine. I like this.
Interesting to see how the judges deal with those contrasting styles that we see from the different performers here at the Big Tens. And certainly Maria Opsel not making their job any easier with a solid performance. Here's a look at that final tumbling run.
She really shows her front tumbling strength right here. Front layout full to front pike. Solid landing.
On the beam, here is a look at Liz Meany, senior for Ohio State. This is her best event, 9.85 or better in 9 of 10 meets for the Buckeyes this season.
And I like that punch front mount. They don't have to do that, but it's a risk that she's willing to take, and she hits it.
Definitely a high risk to start off with your routine with, but it definitely paid off for her. Nice series combination right there.
And this look, too, certainly gives you that vantage point of if you're just a hair offline,
and you know,
awaits.
on that first straddle jump, she looked a little bit off, but she completely pulled it right back on top. And no one would know except us, because we see that vantage.
And as a gymnast, you're taught at a very young age, once you're a little bit off, to try to compensate and get back to the center of the balance beam.
That would seem hard over a tiny piece of wood below.
But you know what? It's much better than sliding off to the side of the beam, so you figure it out.
Meany with 8 beam titles this year.
So far, solid series, 2 solid front tucks.
Right. She's confident on beam, you can tell. She's not tentative in any way.
And that's one thing that's needed on the balance beam. You need to be aggressive. You need to be confident, because if you're slower, there's more chance to make mistakes.
Right.
Setting up with a great dismount. Her Buckeye teammates enjoying that performance from Liz Meany. On the floor for Minnesota, Caroline Jernberg, senior from Blaine, Minnesota, former walk-on to the Gopher program. And you talk to co-head coach Meg Stevenson. She says, I take 100 more like her. Loves her both on and off the mat.
If anyone knows anything about a walk-on, many times you're definitely not guaranteed a scholarship, let alone a partial scholarship. And it's wonderful that she's a walk-on, and she's ending one of their strongest performers on the floor exercise now.
Exactly. Ranked 5th in the conference on this event. She also has a nice combination of tumbling, front-back tumbling.
She's been a Big Ten Gymnast of the Week twice this year, and the only senior on Minnesota's roster, so really putting herself into that leadership role for the other younger Golden Gophers.
Interesting front combination. That was very nice. Front full layout to a punch front and a quarter.
Showcasing her artistic skills as well. 3rd of the Big Tens in this event last year. Working her way towards setting up that final tumbling run here at the Big Tens in 2005.
It's kind of an intense dance style she has.
It's very serious. It's very intense and serious, but it makes you want to watch her.
Exactly. It draws you in. And again, that front tumbling, she can do it.
Yeah, we can tell her where her strengths lie. Very nice routine.
Caroline Jernberg, the senior, sauntering off to some adulation from her Minnesota teammates. And we're back with more for the Big Ten Women's Gymnastics Championships from Iowa City. 5th rotation coming up next on CSTV. Out of the bright lights of Carver Hawkeye Arena here in Iowa City. Great performances so far, the Big Ten Women's Gymnastics Championships. And look at some of them from rotation number 4. Lisa Clark, Penn State on the vault, 9.825. Maria Opsal of Minnesota on the floor. How about a 9.775? Liz Meany on the beam for the Buckeyes and nailing the landing, a 9.875 for her. And then on the floor, Caroline Jernberg with a 9.85. And the Golden Gophers liking that. Team scores through 4 rotations. Michigan State and Ohio State in the lead, but those other schools below them have had more buys than the Spartans and Buckeyes so far. And here's a peek at the lineup for the 5th rotation. Iowa on vault, Penn State with the bars, Michigan on the beam, Illinois has the floor, Minnesota, Michigan State, and Ohio State sitting out here in the 5th rotation. Here in rotation number 5 for Penn State on the bars, specialists in this apparatus, Cecily Allen, went to Westchester, then the program was dissolved, ended up back for a hometown program at Penn State.
And she's got a big routine, a little close to the bar there on the Jaeger.
Very close, but she started off the routine quite strong with a nice uprise all the way to the handstand.
And watch for her dismount coming up right here.
Beautiful.
The double front with a half. Wow.
Nice landing. That was wonderful.
On the bars for Penn State, Crystal Uzelak, former child prodigy national team member, has come to Penn State, sort of been revitalized here in her freshman season.
I do remember watching Crystal when she was younger. She was a great competitor and had beautiful gymnastics, and she's definitely carried it to the Penn State program.
Tops on the bars for the Lions this season, 9.925 her top score, setting up for the dismount.
So far, it's been a great routine. Excellent landing.
On the beam, Jenny Diley for Michigan. You see her season average, and Michigan had already had a fall earlier in this apparatus, so that could be valuable in the overall standings when we look at it as it wraps up towards the end of this 2005 Big Ten Championship.
Well, there are 6 competitors in every event. Only 5 scores count to the team total, so that gives you just one routine leeway. You can have a break on one routine and no more, and they've already, as you said, taken one fall.
And so they'll definitely have to count this fall. But she seems to be holding it together right now, being solid on her series and moving quite confidently.
How difficult is it, ladies, when you have a mistake going on to gather yourselves and keep it going?
It can be tough.
It can be quite tough. However, you've practiced a great deal, not only in practice, but in competitions to kind of hold it together. And she seems to have worked that quite well.
You have to completely put it behind you and just treat it as if you're almost starting over in your head with the routine.
Well, the 2003 Big Ten Freshman of the Year, one of the top all-around performers for Michigan.
And that big step back will cost her, too.
Back on the beam, Michigan really needing a solid performance from senior Elise Ray, defending Big Ten balance beam champ, also won the NCAA title on this particular piece of equipment as a sophomore.
Elise is normally pretty cool, calm, and collected and confident on beams, usually solid, and has quite difficult tricks to master as well. Nice series so far.
Yes. Do you think it affects her knowing that a couple of teammates before her have fallen?
I think it does to some small degree. However, she's a veteran. She's been around for a while, been to the Olympics, been in this situation many times before, so it shouldn't affect her too much.
We saw the quick peek at the block M on one of her ankles, showing her Michigan pride in unique ways with that small little tattoo, and certainly executing some nice moves on the beam.
So far, very pretty routine.
And so far, very little deductions that the judges can take. This is a score that Michigan's going to really need.
Especially given that Penn State has had a pretty decent night on the bars. They could gain a little bit of ground here with Michigan having to count a fall.
And here Elise now comes up preparing for her dismount, which is a unique dismount. It's very pretty, off the side of the beam.
Now, Michigan needed a solid score, and the senior delivers. Elise Ray coming through for the Wolverines.
And here's her dismount again. Cartwheel, side full, beautiful form. Slight deduction on the landing.
Elise Ray delivering for Michigan. We'll see how it affects the team standings in a moment here on CSTV. Jason Knapp, former Big Ten all-around champ Robin Hubner, and Olympic gold medalist Dominique Dawes back with you here from Iowa City, the Big Ten Women's Gymnastics Championships. Here's a look at what we saw in rotation number 5. Cecily Allen, bars specialist for Penn State, delivering a nice number, 9.8 for the Nittany Lions. Her teammate, Crystal Uzelak, maybe the best number we've seen on the bars so far, a 9.925. Michigan with a tough run on the beam. Jenny Diley had a spill, another one earlier in beam for Michigan. The 9.275 could hurt the Wolverines, but Elise Ray, a rock in the anchor position for Michigan, a 9.9. Great dismount helping Michigan. Overall team standings, look like this after 5 rotations. Michigan still clinging to a lead over Penn State, with Michigan State in 3rd, Illinois in 4th. Penn State and Michigan could come down to decide the title one more time. Here's a look at the 6th rotation with Minnesota on the vault. Iowa, Michigan State, Ohio State also in the mix. Illinois, Penn State, and Michigan sitting out. Here in rotation number 6, Minnesota trying to make a push at the standings. Laura Johnson, junior from Albuquerque, New Mexico, with her vault.
And doing a different vault than we've seen.
Very exciting. That was a half on, half off, also known as a Phelps, named after one of my Olympic teammates, J.C. Phelps.
Here's a look at Annie Rue of Iowa. Broke her foot earlier this year, so all she could do is swing bars, and that's what she's done. Refused to quit in her senior season. Coach Larissa Libby said she really set a great example for her teammates.
You know, I was talking to Larissa earlier, and she was saying that Iowa's actually been hurt by the amount of injuries that they've had throughout the season. But Annie's definitely showing that she's worked her weaker event bars and strengthened it up.
A nice full and back out dismount layout. Just that step on the landing.
Annie Rue and Iowa here in front of the home crowd. The final rotation coming up. Can Michigan win this thing for the 7th year in a row? Find out next. Back here in Iowa City, a look at the old Capitol building, part of the backdrop of these 2005 Big Ten Women's Gymnastics Championships. Rotation number 6. Laura Johnson of Minnesota with a 9.85 of the vault, and Annie Rue pleasing the hometown crowd with a 9.825 on the bars. Here's a look at the scores after the 6th rotation. Michigan State, Iowa, Ohio State, the top 3 spots, but don't be fooled. Michigan, Penn State, Minnesota, the only competitors here in this 7th rotation. They are fighting for the overall team title. And here's a look at that 7th rotation. Illinois on the vault, Minnesota on bars. Beam is Penn State's, Michigan on the floor, Ohio State, Iowa, Michigan State sitting out for the rest of the competition. 7th and final rotation, Penn State with a tough assignment on the beam. You know, Nittany Lions have been second 7 times at the Big Ten Championships, trying to break through for that first Big Ten title, and Meredith Hoover, a junior, on the beam right now.
Well, this has to be an exciting moment for Meredith. This is a very hard time. She knows her team needs to have a hit beam routine. She's up close to the last part of the lineup, so she knows this really matters.
She nailed that back handspring layout walkout just very easily.
Solid full turn. That's a skill that actually causes a lot of people problems. So it
sure does.
Looks simple, but it's very difficult to do.
Is that one of those things you take for granted because it's simple and you're thinking about other things in the performance?
And you're worrying about the other, what seemingly are bigger skills, but then you know, on a simple full turn, you can lose your balance so easily.
Or a simple dance move or a simple scale. But so far, she's performing quite well. Solid performance.
She's sort of talking to herself as she goes through, maybe little mental reminders as she goes along.
Self-talk is very helpful. I remember throughout my career, I would self-talk. However, I did not open up my mouth when I did it.
Not going for the inner monologue, thinking out loud a little bit, but it seems to be working.
That was a nice combination of a leap into front somersault.
The dismount, nicely done. Solid score, 9.8 for Meredith Hoover and the Nittany Lions. Now on floor, Elise Ray. Last performance for her here at the 2005 Big Ten Championships, and if she can nail this, she can help close out a 7th straight Big Ten title for the Wolverines.
Tough takeoff on that first tumbling pass. However, she pulled that 1.5 out of that quite well.
She cut it a little short, but like you say, she can recover from just about anything and make it look like she planned it that way.
She's pretty experienced.
Great to have that experience in the anchor position.
Very pretty.
Nice, solid double pike. Beautiful music choice as well as interesting and unique choreography.
I think it really fits her style. It's kind of smooth and slinky.
Another one of those routines throughout the competition that makes you want to watch.
Right.
And folks will be watching Elise Ray for the last few times here in her collegiate career. Regionals, NCAAs, and that's it. You heard her at the opening of the program talking about how it's bittersweet and she'll be soaking up the atmosphere of these final few routines and going through the motions here towards the end of her floor exercise.
It's definitely a tough time knowing that the end of your career is coming near. However, you know that each routine, each skill really does matter, and she's doing quite well for Michigan, and hopefully they can come out on top.
Final tumbling pass here. And Elise Ray finishes it off for Michigan, a 9.825. The Wolverines and head coach Bev Plotke hoping it's enough for another Big Ten title. Crystal Uslak on the balance beam for Penn State. The Nittany Lions trying to close in on Michigan here in this last rotation.
Solid series there. Wonderful landing. This has to be a lot of pressure put up on a young freshman. However, she is experienced being a past elite gymnast.
It is a little bit different atmosphere. The college ranks, hopefully a little bit less pressure because you're in a team atmosphere.
And Coach Steve Shepard said that Crystal really sort of soaked up that collegiate team atmosphere, and you can see it. She's come through with some of her best performances of the year in these Big Tens, and there are her Nittany Lion teammates cheering her on as she works her way towards the end of this routine.
And knowing that Penn State is only a couple tenths behind Michigan, I'm sure that's in the back of her mind.
Trying to max out this routine. The dismount.
Double pike with a stuck landing.
Well done. 9.95 for Crystal Uslak. The final numbers look like this. Michigan gets it done. That's 7th straight Big Ten title. Now 13 of the last 14 years the Wolverines have been champs, but it was close. Penn State within less than a quarter point of the Wolverines. Minnesota hanging on there for third.
I was so impressed, obviously, with Michigan, as always, but Penn State and Minnesota really keeping the pressure on in the final rotation. None of them, they had no mistakes. They really hit their routine.
And to see that Penn State could hit beam and end it solidly and really put the pressure, as you had said, on to Michigan was impressive.
And certainly the Wolverines relied on their senior star, Elise Ray, top 4 in each of the disciplines, good enough to win the all-around for the second year in a row.
And another all-around for Elise. What a wonderful way to end up her Big Ten championship competition.
Certainly the big story, Michigan gets it done again. Hail to the victors, the maize and blue, one more time. Congratulations to Michigan, 2005 Big Ten Women's Gymnastics champs. For Robin Hubner and Dominique Dawes, our entire CSTV crew, I'm Jason Knapp. For more, log on to CSTV.com, the ultimate destination for scores, news, highlights, and analysis. This has been a presentation of CSTV, College Sports Television, #1 in college sports. So long from Iowa City. Thanks for watching, everybody.